You know, at first I put this yellow one to represent bananas, and now it looks like I'm advertising something. Who's to say? Banana. Hi, hello everyone, my name is Jer, and I'm not fruity, you are. We got some raspberry Arizona. It is Snatch Game time in Drag Race Down Under vs. the World, and the title for episode 3 was called Whose Wig Is It Anyway? I don't understand why, because they didn't change the format and there wasn't a wig runway. AI? This episode was surprising to me in a lot of different ways, but mostly because we have lost the plot on Snatch Game. This used to be a challenge that was about celebrity impersonation, about celebrity illusion, a riff off of something called the Match Game, where real celebrities would sit down and answer questions to two normies, and they were trying to match their answers together. As the series went on, the celebrities oftentimes just tried to be funny. And this season we had two of the most bizarre choices possible, and I don't know if I loved them. And it's funny that these episodes are coming right off the heels of Canada's Drag Race doing very similar challenges, since Canada's Drag Race did their smaller Snatch Game and Down Under did their bigger Snatch Game. I'm curious which one y'all preferred, because controversially I kind of liked Canada's better, whereas I liked the design challenge better in Down Under than I did in Canada. My biggest note about the Snatch Game universally, is that it does not have to be cringe. Watch Drag Race Italia season 1 and 2 for confirmation, and if you skip over parts of Sipario's performance, season 3 is not cringy either. The hosts can laugh at things, they can find humor in even banal answers, but a lot of the other hosts follow in Rue's footsteps, and they're trying to make moments. They intentionally won't laugh at something that could warrant a giggle. Kiara, Priscilla, even Tommaso would gutturally cackle like Tamar Braxton in season 7, enjoying everything that the contestants put out, because Snatch Game can be funny. Snatch Game should be funny. Even when it's not funny, it could be. And while I appreciate that it's reality TV, I sometimes wish that they would just allow this to be a fun challenge, not make my insides want to explode like when the facehuggers come out in Alien. The entire storyline of episode 3 is that this is now Drag Race Down Under versus the World, since Nicole Paige Brooks from Atlanta, Georgia is now gone from the competition, and they lost Raven, who they also thought was competing. So the international queens are wanting the odds to even out and make it more in their favor. I think after watching Slajon Royale and seeing how the Filipina queens rallied together against the international queens, and then the international queens had their infighting, with Siam being the weirdest human being on earth, Yuhua hating everyone, Sumting causing problems immediately, and almost no harmony with the rest. We saw Suki kind of trail over to the Filipina side and start to lock in with them. And if the international queens want to have any type of standing in these versus the worlds, they either have to be completely united or manage to get someone from the other camp to join them. That's just how these things work. We kind of saw parallel lines in UK versus the World season 3. But with that group, the UK queens were not united. Kate Butch was actively trying to separate herself from them. So it's interesting to see such a different dynamic this time, where the Down Under queens are on a complete united front to make sure that they get to the end. And whether it was production-led or their own poor choices, that goal did not happen this week. And I know that someone was sitting in a chair laughing like a villain that they had two Down Under queens in the bottom. That is such brilliant storytelling from where the episode began, of the entire room talking about how they had to even out the odds. Lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. But I do think there was one critical mistake, and that was not having Coco Jumbo in the top 2. I have said many times that your runway should make or break how you score, and I stand by that. I think that Coco's performance in the Snatch Game was the best of the night, so a kind of low-key runway didn't bring her score down so far for me that I thought you don't deserve top 2. We'll get into that in a second. Flor reveals that she also wanted to eliminate Nicole Paige Brooks from Atlanta, Georgia, and it's revealed that Art will never eliminate Coco Jumbo, and I appreciate that greatly. She even went out on a limb to say that she's following her values and she's got her Down Under sisters always at the front of her mind. This episode is forgoed a word? Forwent? What's the past tense of forego? Forwent. That doesn't sound real. When did this get introduced to the dictionary? This episode forewent a lot. That does not sound real. This episode forewent a lot of the normal story beats that we see on Drag Race. They didn't do a mini challenge and they skipped directly from the Snatch Game to the runway where there's usually some get ready with us makeup time. We didn't get any of that. Instead, the beef focused entirely on the intro and then into the Untucked. I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I wish that every international season just followed what Drag Race Philippines does and did a proper Untucked. Anyways, the sit-down preparation to get ready for Snatch Game I think was productive. I like seeing Michelle sitting down with everyone in a round table because it allows everyone to hear her criticisms of how she expects Snatch Game to go, what her expectations are, what she wants to see from them comedically. So it gives them all an even playing field on how to impress her. I think that's a lot better than the one-on-ones where we often see RuPaul giving more advice to the queens that she likes and holding back a little bit with the ones that she clearly doesn't connect with. And with Estrella doing Charo, a critical mistake by the way, she joins a multiverse of queens that have been done almost as many times as Cardi B. The Cardi B multiverse is still 6. Cher and Charo are now, I believe, both tied for 5. Maybe I'm wrong on Cher. Delta, Chad, Jujubee, that girly in UK6. I swear someone else did Cher. We've had Yara Sofia, Sugar Cane, Flor, Serena Morena, and now Estrella all doing Charo. And none of them were funnier than Yara. So let's get into the Snatch Game where we have Vibe as Bette Midler. And I really enjoyed the look. I thought she was very fun. Her answers were playful. I was missing a bit of that intensity that I think I wanted to see from a Snatch Game. She seemed reserved and refined in the way that she responded to everything, which is fine. Bette is someone who's a classy lady. But I wanted to see just a little more characterization. It felt like it was holding back just a bit. Speaking of holding back, we have Nikita as Mary Jane. And for YouTube purposes, this is definitely that girly from Spider-Man. I was confused by this. Snatch Game used to mean something. We used to have a proper Snatch Game with proper celebrities. Who was the first person that kicked this off? Who can we blame? Is this Kim Chi's fault? You know what? Let's blame Violet and Max for doing drag queens on the Snatch Game, and then Kim for introducing fake characters. I'm so tired of babies and angels and devils, lions, tigers, and bears, oh my, and now Mary Jane. And what I don't get is why you would play it like, oh, yep, I'm blitzed. Girly, you could literally play this Laganja Estranja, okay? You could go crazy. You could be so big and larger than life and yes God, yes mama, munchies, yes. I don't know why she didn't be okay about it. I was bored the whole time and Nikita looked bored. And I think Nikita is just too low key of an entertainer among this group that is so high energy. We have Estrella as Charo. Mess factory. I did find it slightly microaggressive when Michelle said you could just put on the wig and you'd be Charo. That's beyond the point. I don't like when queens do a high voice for a character. It's very Miss Vanjie doing the Cash Me Outside girl. Like, why are you doing this? You don't have to do all that. Why are we in a falsetto? Why are we Mickey Mouse? Stop. Just talk normal. If a celebrity doesn't have an iconic voice, like, I don't know, some type of like deep accent like this, where you're like talking like you're from Brooklyn or New Jersey, but you can't really decide which one you want to be. Like, if it's not that, diva, just don't do a voice. Just talk. Put a little inflection if you got to. She always looks beautiful though. I love Estrella. I did not like this. Then we have Flor as Rowan Atkinson. The mug was uncanny. The way she glued the brows upwards. I was highly entertained by her facial expression. If she had just not said a word, Flor could have won this whole Snatch Game easily. Snatched it. Now, do I believe that Flor was the worst of the room? Absolutely freaking not. She had some misses. Was it so bad that it was bottom 2? No. I was entertained at least by Flor. Then we have Lala Ree as Rick James. She did the timeless drag queen classic of take a straight man but make them gay. I enjoyed when Ashley Madison made Jesus gay because Jesus is very homoerotic. I think this worked phenomenally well when Melinda Verga did it in her Snatch Game. It was a little familiar when Amy Yonsei also did it, but then we've also seen Marina Summers make a straight man gay. We saw Trinity the Tuck make the devil gay. There's so many characters that we've seen on Snatch Game, but make them gay, that to me, they're just becoming nothing burgers of performances. Like, a lot of us could go on TV and just act. I don't think that's much of a stretch. I would have liked to have seen Lala push herself a bit more, considering that her All-Stars 8 Snatch Game was pretty decent. I thought overall it just seemed like Lala. There wasn't a lot of characterization there, and I didn't see a distinction from her personality to the character that she picked. Then we've got Michael Maruli as Tim Curry, but specifically riffing off of Rocky Horror. The makeup, uncanny. That's so good. I loved the little quivers of her lip. They didn't feature Michael a lot in the edit, so I kind of already knew where it was going. To me, it was a parallel line to the character she did in UK5 Snatch Game. Like, it just sounded and acted like Michael without a lot of impersonation. It wasn't, to me, very well characterized that it stood out super positively, but it didn't stand out negatively either. It was just solidly, you did the Snatch Game. Then we've got Miss Jade So as the Universe. I think Jade is a wackadoo, and I think that her connecting with the vibes of the universe and finding her aura and where it matches in the stars. I think there's something beautiful and powerful about that. Very new agey. Love all that kind of stuff. I just don't know if it works on Drag Race for an improv challenge like the Snatch Game. There were some moments that were oddly funny to me, and I can't explain why they were funny. I think it's just the way that she says things. The character could have been so date everything. This inanimate object that comes to life. She could have played this sexually. She could have played this more sultry. She could have infused it with even more humor. And I think she got there with the black hole joke, but then it was like that whirlpool of comedy just hit her and she was just doing the same thing over and over again. Love Massisi, slave to the rhythm. Jaden Vision. We see this echoed through Snatch Game where someone comes in with a half-hearted character that they think, I'll make it work. I'm funny enough to be able to navigate my way through the comedy. And then they get trapped and they never get out of that one thing. And I think she got lost, she fell flat. I was kind of bored overall by it. Then we've got Art Simone as Jane Turner, who is revealed later to be someone that Michelle really loves. I have seen Art do this character on her Instagram stories and Instagram videos many times before, and I think she does it brilliantly. Starting out by calling Michelle Mitchell was transcendent. I love when the queens get on to Snatch Game and they misname someone and call them something completely ridiculous. Jinx calling Rue Broom. There's some great ones that are out there, but we've not seen Michelle get dug at, so Mitchell was very funny. And Art is someone who's very smart, so I can never tell when she's maybe too smart for the room and is just naturally being smart, or when she is doing that Marilyn Monroe, I'm acting dumb but am actually very intelligent in this moment, because her wordplay on cunt and cock were both very funny, and it got Michelle rolling because it sounded like other words. I don't know if that was purposeful or if that was just how her voice sounded. She saw that it was getting laughs, so she kept saying it, not really being aware of what it was. It's so hard to tell with intellectuals, but she was brilliant, she was fun, she seemed very prepared, and this was a great story moment for her coming so far from her last time in the Snatch Game where she bottomed. Then we've got Coco Jumbo as Barry White, and this was my winner. This was so freaking funny. I was highly amused by the moaning, getting hot and bothered by that very first question and then acting like she busted. Period. It was so good. I like that she played this straight male character earnestly, kind of gross and nasty a little bit, but infused with humor. This was so good. This is what I want to see on the Snatch Game. Something that is prepared and has references, but also is its own character that exists in its own universe. I lived. So Art and Coco had my highest marks from the Snatch Game. And I mean, kind of by default, vibe was high, but I wasn't necessarily entertained by her Snatch Game choices. It just wasn't extremely funny to me. And then I think everyone else was just like, there. So we skip straight to the runway, and once again, we have a Snatch Game featuring a food runway. This time, it is tropical fruits. Love fruits. Banana. So first up, we have Vibe as Watermelon. Nice melons. I'm sorry. The color block pattern of the light and dark green remind me of those watermelon bubblegum candies from when I was a kid that you'd get out of the machine for 25 cents. Sometimes they had little black seeds in them that also were part of the gum, and they popped. It was great. I can still taste it if I think about it. I really like the short hair on her. She looks puss and not to be messed with. Ooh, and those red nails, great final touch. I'm not madly in love with the watermelon pizza slices that are tacked to the seams, but I don't hate them either. It helps me understand what this is supposed to be. Soft slay. We have Extravaganza doing dragon fruit, which we saw Crystal Versace do dragon fruit, and honestly, I think this was a little better. When Michelle said, "Girl, you are seedy," I didn't realize she was talking about like seeds, like spitting seeds out. I thought she was calling Estrella a crossie, which I was confused about. I'm like, where? I love this Lee Bowery Club Kid dragon fruit. The colors are divine. The little pops of green Muppet feathers give it a touch of whimsy. Her shape overall, delicious. This is immaculate. Super slay. This absolutely helped get her out of the bottom for her horrible charo, but I still think that she was low 3. Then we have Flor with durian. I've had a durian macaroon and the flavor of that has lingered with me for years. From what I've been told, durian's one of those things that if you grow up eating it, it tastes delicious and sweet, but if you've never had it before, it tastes like trash. To me, if you've ever worked in food service, it tasted like what the garbage bin smells like. I'm very entranced by the construction of this look because it appears hand painted, and I imagine all those spiky studs took days and days of work to apply. My favorite thing is that Flor didn't just put a bra under this and called it a day. She sprayed body glitter from tit to tit, so there was more visual interest than just flesh. She looks powerful. She looks like a woman who means business. I still don't want to eat durian, but I love this slay. I don't think she was bottom 2. Then we have Michael Maruli presenting pomegranate. I loved her UK accent saying pomegranate. This looks a bit princess-like with the regal cape and hood moment. That matte white surrounding all the sequin red fabric draws my eyes right into those cool shapes. It adds a vibrant color pop to the entire look. I do wish that she was a bit more cinched, just to give it some shape, because I think the outfit was a tad bulky. Overall, it's a slay. We have Nikita Iman doing Tamarillo, which I've never eaten before. Holy sh**, jaw-dropping. She walked with the most powerful model walk. I am buying whatever she is selling. The color gradient as it goes from that hot red pepper down to that hot yellow is pleasing to my eyes. I love the little breaks of the orange in there. This is the most fashionable that she has looked all season, and it's a tragedy that she had to be eliminated looking so puss. The shape of the overdress on top of the bodysuit gets me excited and inspired creatively. I love that shiny fabric. It's so pretty. I have nothing but praise for this look. Even the high neckband that I typically don't like, it's working for me. Max slay. Unfortunately, no matter how good the look was, it did not save that her performance in the Snatch Game was the worst. Right next to Jade So. Then we have Lala Ree with Kawano. Lala, you better be bald. Not a lot of queens can pull off baldness, but Lala does it flawlessly. She explained that this is a South African horned melon, period. Love that. I don't love the motorcycle jacket with the corset bodysuit. I, for one, am shocked that Michelle did not put this in the bottom just to rip her a new asshole for wearing chaps, because Michelle hates chaps. My opinion, I think they avoided any international queens in the bottom 2 because they knew that they could not afford to lose more of them. I feel like production wants to even the playing field a bit, because I think that Lala and Jade So could have been in the bottom instead of Flor. I love the bag on this look. I think it's really amazing. My biggest problem are the cutouts under the breasts. Look like either mistakes or it was done afterwards to give a little more skin. And because they're in that chicken cutlet shape, it makes her boobs breast saggily and not boobily. I don't think that's stunning. The look is not for me, it's a soft chalk. Then we have Art Simone with passion fruit. Art knows how to walk well with a jacket. I love when a model just walks with it like this and doesn't just trail it behind them or let it sag or throw it on the ground. That impressed me the most was her poise on the runway. I'm obsessed with these chunky seed-shaped stones in the undergarment. The colors are graphic and bold on both looks, even if it's a simplistic look. It's nice and clean, good silhouette. I think it's a fashion translation from fruit to garment. This is effective. It's got that classic mod shape on the underside. Is it pushing boundaries? No, absolutely not. Is this the most editorial thing? Absolutely not. Do I like it? Yeah, I do. It's cute. Soft slay. Then we have Miss Jade So with jackfruit. I love jackfruit as a replacement for meats. The scale of this is breathtaking. She looks voluptuous. Voluptuous! God, the work that must have gone into this. I'm very impressed that this came from Jade So's runway package. She ate, she left no crumbs. It's a bold garment done so well, deserves all the flowers and accolades, and I have to give her credit for choosing a more petite hairstyle that complemented the look rather than something huge or an exaggerated pony or something. Super slay. Then we've got Coco Jumbo as a coconut. My coconuts. You can put them in your mouth, but not right now. Would I ever look at this and think, coconut? Absolutely never in a million years. I'd be like, wow, pretty brown dress. But her body looks phenomenal in this cute secretary on vacation outfit. Like she's trying to enjoy the waves, but she still has to dictate emails for her boss. I think Michelle was on the nose when she said a small detail like lining it with white would have leveled it up just enough to make this more recognizable as a coconut. Even adding some fringe on the edges, because coconuts are fuzzy. It needed one extra thing to push the category. Hell, even a green jacket that could have been removed and taken off. Because aren't coconuts green on the exterior and then on the inside is brown? I think she looks lovely though. The look is a soft slay. Estrella, Lala, and Michael are all called safe. You could easily make an argument for all three of these queens being in the bottom for different reasons. It's so hard to call. I really think that production did not want to lose another international queen in episode 3. And for the storytelling growth of Art and Coco both bottoming in the very first Down Under Snatch Game and one of them going home, I think there was so much potential to put them both in the top 2, make them battle out in a lip sync and have one of them come out victorious, creating a cool moment, and this could have been the best storytelling in literal years. I don't even care that Coco's runway wasn't amazing. I think that she deserved it. Vibe and Art are called as the top 2 of the week and have to lip sync to another lip sync redo, and that's Physical by Dula Pipa. I don't know about this. The performance for me was giving Reggie B versus Juicy Couture, and if you've not seen Holland 2, you're not missing anything. The girls who know. And was it a cheap move to go back to the Snatch Game character to secure the win? Perhaps. Vibe didn't want to win, and you could tell that she was restrained, and I wasn't really moved or convinced by either performance. I was just kind of like, you guys did that. You can tell that neither one of them wanted to do it, and I wish that they would have followed the Chippy T and Golden Beaver format, where whoever wins the challenge gets to choose someone from the bottom 3 to be safe, and then whoever's there gets to lip sync for their life, prove why they want to stay, allow that fire to come out, because I think that lends for a more interesting lip sync. We need those Beaver rules permanently in Versus the Worlds. Art chooses to eliminate Nikita because she wanted to play against the best of the best, and she thought that Flor was that person. I also agree. I think that Flor has brought it harder than Nikita has. Nikita's not done well every single week. She seems a little bit out of her depth. She's a beautiful queen. She seems like she's got a lot to offer visually, but I'm not sure how much she's got to offer in these challenges that are probably going to be comedy heavy. Except next week is a Franken drag challenge. So it looks like the queens are going to be bringing out some old looks that they've done, and they'll have to share them with the room, tear them apart, and make something new. It's crazy to see another sewing challenge, but I am not mad because that first one was great, and I would love to see this group do another one. I personally want to see sewing challenges more frequently in All Stars, in Versus the Worlds, and even in regular seasons of Drag Race. Don't make them bury themselves in debt to buy costumes. Provide them materials while they're there to make something new. Maybe it doesn't have to come at the expense of tearing apart something that they did spend money on at one point. I do like the upcycled, recycled gown concept. I think there is something fun about that, but I would like to see more materials provided. Let them create something there, show what their drag looks like, manifested from their own fingers. What did y'all think about this week? This was probably the most I've had to say about Down Under so far, because I genuinely liked this episode. I thought it was a fun time, even though we have completely lost the plot of Snatch Game, and there were so many issues, and there were some issues that I had with judging. Speaking of which, did Reese seem like high off his balls or something? When Michelle was talking to the panel, Reese kind of looked like he was like falling asleep. His eyes seemed a little puffy. He seemed sleepy. Something was going on with Reese this week, whether he was sick or not, something was going on. I enjoyed the episode. I'm still enjoying Down Under Versus the World, and I had a fun time with this, despite some of my problems. I would have loved to have not seen Flor in the bottom. I think she could have been safe. That runway was sick. I think there were other queens that were worse in the challenge, but delivered well on the runway, so it's tough. Make sure to go back and watch my interview with Lena Galore, winner of Drag Race Italia Season 3. It was a very fun time. It's a long watch, so if you do, be prepared to be sitting for a minute, or get some dishes done while you listen. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the flip.